What is going on, guys? It's Modded Warfare here. Welcome back to another PS5 video. So we've had a new release from Sistro today, PS5 Debug, which we've been waiting on for quite some time. Now, whenever Sistro or Lightning Mods releases something, you know it's going to be good, and PS5 Debug is definitely no exception to this. We have a ton of extra features that have now been unlocked for the PS5. So first of all, what is PS5 Debug? Well, PS5 Debug is an API that allows you to remotely connect to the PS5 over the network and basically debug it. You can debug it remotely using RPC, remote procedure call. You can do things like read and write memory. You can remotely call functions, pause and unpause the kernel, and a bunch of other features. And because of this huge feature set that PS5 Debug has, it unlocks a lot of functionality like the ability to read and write memory remotely. That allows for things like trainers, remote trainers, like the PS4 trainer, for example, could be ported over to the PS5. Another thing that this also allows is for account activation as well as save mounting, at least for PS4 saves at the moment. Not sure about PS5 saves, that might be a little bit different, but a lot of this stuff is now possible. So I've been doing a bunch of tests over the past few hours to see what works and what doesn't with the PS4 debug payload right now. If you want to get this up and running, all you have to do is load the PS5 debug payload from the exploit host. It's already included in IdleSauce's host, and a bunch of other hosts will already have it updated. So you can just load it from within there. Once it's loaded, you can then connect any remote debugging software that you have. So the first thing I tried was the account activator. There is an account activator available. It wasn't meant to be released. It's actually a test version that Sistro was working on, and somebody leaked it out by mistake. I suppose they didn't realize that it was meant to be private. So that has been released, but it's not a complete version. There are a few bugs there. It should be safe enough to use, but it's still not really recommended to use it until we have a official release from Sistro that, you know, is completed or close to being completed, like a beta build or some release that we get from Sistro. But in the meantime, if you want to risk it, you can give that one a try as well. So I did try it. I was able to successfully activate my account. So this is offline activating your account, which just means that the account, instead of showing up as a local account, it will appear as though it's been, you know, signed into a PSN account at some point, so that it's activated and has access to features that you normally would not have access to on a local account. Now, one of the features I tried right away was remote play. Unfortunately, that doesn't appear to work. The remote play option is still disabled in the system settings when the account is activated. So not sure about that. That might require a patch. I believe this was similar on the PS4. It required a patch to enable the remote play. In order to access the settings, you had a PS4 REN or remote play enabler payload that would allow you to access the settings and turn remote play on. So if we can get something similar, then we should be able to turn remote play on, and then it should just work from there on with an activated account, because you can use the PSN account ID of the activated account to connect to it using some kind of third-party remote play client. So that should work once we have that up and running, but right now we don't have access to remote play, wasn't able to access that. I also tried transferring saves from my PS4 to my PS5, because since I can activate the account now on the PS5, I can use the same account ID that I have on my PS4, my jailbroken PS4, and I can use that account ID to activate my PS5 account. So with the PS5 account and the PS4 account having the same account IDs, it means saves that I create or re-sign on my jailbroken PS4 can be transferred over to the PS5 and should just work with that same account because they use the same IDs. So that actually did in fact work. I was able to use the Apollo save tool on the PS4. I took a save file for Assassin's Creed Mirage, a modified save from another console, you know, copied it over to my jailbroken PS4 and re-signed it to that account ID, which of course is the same account ID I now have activated on the PS5. And then from there, I could try and take that save and copy it to the PS5. Now, one thing I did also notice is that trying to copy a save file from the USB drive to the hard drive, that's a feature that gets enabled when you activate an account on the PS4. However, it doesn't quite work on the PS5 because the PS5 appears to have some additional check where it wants you to update to the latest firmware in order to be able to transfer a save from a USB stick to the PS5 itself. At least that's what I experienced when I tried to copy the save over. However, what I was able to do is just use FTP to go directly to the save directory on Assassin's Creed and copy the re-signed save file in there directly into the save folder. And then I was able to basically just replace a save that already exists in that folder with the equivalent save, the modded one, that I copied from my PS4, and then I was able to access that save file on the game running on my PS5, which is pretty awesome. So that works. You can copy your save files from the PS4 to the PS5. I know that's something a lot of people have been requesting. I'll definitely do full tutorials on this stuff over the next few days, although we may wait for the account activator to be properly released. But that is one option right there. Now, there's also a save mounter, which might be possible. I haven't tested this yet. I'll maybe add something on screen to let you know if it works. But for now, anyway, I haven't tested that yet. But theoretically, that's something that could also work. You probably just have to change the directory locations in the source code and then try the PS4 save mounter, and it may actually work. So that allows you to mount the save files on the PS5 itself, which can then allow you to replace save files with modded save files on the PS5. So if you don't already have a jailbroken PS4 that you can re-sign the saves on, then you can just use the save mounter instead on the PS5 to inject a modded save file from another console, even if you don't have a jailbroken PS4. So that's an option as well. Hopefully we'll get a version of the save mounter released. Of course, the other big thing is going to be cheats, trainers, and mod tools. Now this is possible right now, so existing mod tools for the PS4 that use PS4 Debug should theoretically work on the PS5 using PS5 Debug. I haven't tested them right now myself, but maybe tools like DeathRGH's PS4 Toolbox may be compatible, or it may just need a slight tweak to get it working. So we should have existing mod tools and trainers available. The big trainer, of course, is the PS4 Web Trainer by Tyler Mods that has cheats for, hundreds of different games. That requires a different payload. It requires the WebRTE payload rather than the PS4 Debug payload. So that will have to either be ported over now that we have PS5 Debug released. If the WebRTE payload was based on PS4 Debug anyway, it could probably be just updated to release a PS5 WebRTE payload, and then we can get that trainer working, or maybe it can be ported over to use PS5 Debug instead. But that's something that we could see, and all the cheats are available. You can download all of the cheat files for the PS4 Web Trainer and then use another tool to apply them. So, for example, I just tested this with a debugger. There's a program called PS4 Debug Watch, or just Debug Watch, that you can use as a debugger. There's obviously, DeathRGH's PS4 Toolbox has a bunch of debugging tools built in as well. So basically all you need to do once you run the debug payload and you have the game running is you can basically just connect up. So I connected up the debug watch via the IP address of the PS5 and then attached it to the eboot.bin, which is the main executable for the game. And then from there, I was able to, figure out where the start address is for the eboot. And then once I found that, I could add that onto any address that is in the cheat for the PS4 Web Trainer. For Infinite Health is the cheat that I tried with Assassin's Creed Mirage. And basically you can just add the address for the cheat to the start address for the eboot, and then that'll take you to that exact section in memory. I was then able to add the values necessary to apply the cheat remotely, and then apply that. There was 2 addresses, so I had to do it twice, one for each address, and then I had Infinite Health enabled. But that's a very slow, monotonous way of applying that. I could easily just whip up a quick tool that takes the JSON data for the cheat and then parses that into the tool, allows you to select what cheats you want and then apply it to the game with PS5 Debug. Any other developer could also whip up a quick tool that does this, and it would make it a lot easier to apply the cheats from the PS4 trainer. But the other big thing though is because this is for the PS5, we can now start looking at PS5 cheats for PS5 games. So native PS5 games could now be modified using this. And yeah, we can now get cheats, trainers, and mod tools for PS5 games, as well as porting over all the existing stuff that we have for our PS4 games that are running on the PS5. So this is a pretty big deal, a huge release here, PS5 Debug, a lot of stuff that we can do with it. Account activation, save mounting, cheats, trainers, mod tools, remote debugging software. It's also going to open things up for a lot of developers as well, so that they can work on some interesting, patches and various other things. You can also, of course, apply patches remotely with this as well. So yeah, this is going to open up a hell of a lot of new functionality, and you'll start seeing a lot of stuff happening very, very quickly. Okay, and just as I was editing up this video here, I saw that Lightning Mods has now included the PS5 debug payload into ETA Hen, so it's all in one. So now if you load ETA Hen, you'll get the PS5 debug payload as well as FTP and the PS4 fake package enabler, which is pretty handy. So that's all now included. It is a test payload at the moment, so there could be issues. but that has now been integrated. So yeah, just wanted to give you guys a quick update of PS5 Debug, this release, and what I've tested so far. Obviously, I will bring you guys tutorials for a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about here, like, you know, save mounting and copying saves from PS4 to PS5. I'll probably do tutorials on, you know, some cheats, trainers, that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely stay tuned to the channel because I'm going to have a lot of videos that are going to be covering a lot of the new features that are now available through PS5 Debug. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one or found the information useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And once again, I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video.